One single injection unlocks your DNA and will release another version of yourself.
The Substance. So this movie follows the life of Elizabeth Sparkle, who was a successful fitness instructor, now coming to her 50th year on this planet. The industry she works in is kind of rejecting her. So because of a tale of a few things, she ends up finding this injection called the Substance, which promises to birth out of you a new lease of life, and you have a second being. So you're actually in the form of two selves, and you have to keep these two selves alive at once. And this is all in the name of beauty and sexualization. And this is played by Demi Moore, Elizabeth Sparkle. But Alex, what did you think going into this film when you saw it was 18 as a rating and you went into the cinema? Did you know anything about what this might curtail?
I mean, no. I've seen the trailer obviously before, and I was like, "Oh, Demi Moore. I haven't seen her in something good." And then Margaret Qualley and Dennis Quaid and all of that. No idea about the director. No idea about the what the film is really about. I like the trailer. You know, this always felt gringy type of out there concept about getting a substance into you to become another person, so you're not happy with the current person. And I went in there, and boy was I taken by surprise. This film is through the charts. I'm surprised this film was made. That's how good it is. And that's how ambitious and brave it was. Without too many spoilers, it doesn't go well. Basically, let's just keep it light like that. But the concept and the story of the theme of there's many levels to the story, because initially it looks at, you know, yourself. How do you look at yourself, and how society portrays you, and what does beauty mean? So that's in the very one of the underlying themes. Demi Moore, which she's still a beautiful woman even in her 50s. I don't know how old she is now, but she doesn't believe so, and she has to appeal to this. But the society around her pushes her to act like this. So that's a critique on society. And then further on, it goes into the duality of a person, because this substance literally creates another person, another version of it for 7 days at a time. So you have to be this beautiful young person created by the substance, and then yourself, without overlapping those 7 days, just 7 days, and that's it. And as long as you follow that, you're all good. But what did you thought, basically, Baz, of the first 30 minutes, an hour of the film?
Yeah, so I think this film is definitely split up into 3 chapters, isn't it? I'd say. So the first chapter just it tells you a lot about the industry that she is in. You know, these fitness videos and how over sexualized it is, and there's not a place for older women there, and again, that's all very subjective how you think about that and stuff. And you know, with the kind of second chapter, and with there being two selves, two versions of her, of Elizabeth Sparkle, of the newer one being called Sue. You know, this you could take this as many ways as you want. I was almost thinking that the Sue version was almost kind of like the social media version of Elizabeth Sparkle, and then her older self in the form of Demi Moore. This was just kind of the behind the scenes real person, which you don't get to see. So that's one take you can have on it as well. But no, I thought it was very, very interesting, really. You know, the film focuses on womanhood quite a lot. You know, and what it's meant to be sexy, sort of thing. And I actually think the film can be very ambiguous. You don't have to agree that is a beauty standard. Did you think it was trying to have an overlying message of this is what it is to be young and beautiful, or did you think that could be seen as a bit ambiguous, Alex?
Well, as a whole film, it tells you that this is where we are today, basically.
Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself? Younger, more beautiful, more perfect. One single injection unlocks your DNA, starting a new cellular division that will release another version of yourself.
Because it takes you from, you know, from her you understand the reasons that why she's taking the substance, because she's forced by society to do that. And the society the new standards or current standards of beauty are these. So if you want to be relevant and if you want to be looked at, you have to be this beautiful. This is what society tells you to be. But then you see the consequences of that, because that's not a healthy standard. And yes, you are saying it very well that the younger version of her represents social media, because this is perfectly beautiful. It's almost like overly stylized, the younger version of her, with even how it's filmed. And then you see the grim consequences of going down that route, and it's just like crystal clear. This is what it is. And unfortunately, back in the day, you didn't have to be looking like an Instagram poster walking down the street in order to be appreciated. You're supposed to have substance, isn't it? Hence the title of the film. That's what I felt without touching on the last few minutes of the film. But this is what the core of the film is. Why? First of all, why is society like that? Second of all, why do we have to? Because between the two persons themselves, they start fighting against each other. It's like, yeah, but you're the same person, remember? And the film reminds you that. Why is that?
Yeah. The cold voice at the end of the phone actually keeps ringing throughout the movie, who is like meant to be the advisor of the substance, which I thought was quite cleverly done, because it's always just that cold voice over the phone. You never meet this person or anything. It's well done.
Yeah.
But they always are reiterating it. You are the same. You think you're at war with another being, this other self, but you're not. It is all your own mind. And I think it's almost like a clever visualization of kind of what addiction does to you, because I think Elizabeth is addicted to being Sue.
Correct.
And will sacrifice her own substance and her own body to be Sue for longer. And it's like this normalization of if she wants to be Sue for more than 7 days, which she does quite a lot in the film, then it actually takes her away from her real self in the form of a dodgy finger or something, or she makes her real self look a bit older.
Yeah.
But it's a good visualization of, if you're on a slippery slope of addiction, this is what will happen. But just to counter your point, Alex, you say, oh, this is today's standards. The actual character Elizabeth Sparkle, when she was doing these fitness videos, it would have been 1990s or something. So it wouldn't have been the same sort of kind of rhetoric then. Are we at a point in society where we're over sexualizing everything now, because hasn't this been going on for the last 30 to 40 years?
Yeah, well, maybe not 30 to 40, but the film doesn't have a timeline. It's portrayed as if it's a bit older, and probably intentionally it's portrayed as, because you see technology all around you, even when she's being younger or not. But you see that the standards that we're talking about, they're not in the past 10 years, they're in the past 25, just because of the internet and the abundance of information that we have at our fingertips. That's where it's all coming from, because you're quickly changing the structure of society by reassessing, re-putting those standards in a different place. And the film shows that very well, because she's fighting with her social media, her persona, her other self, basically, and her true self is being diluted because of that. So she goes into a vicious circle, because she will never win the fight with this persona that society likes, and to a point where she can't get out of her home. And you remember that scene, she keeps staying indoors and going out and all of that. And it's just beautifully put like that scenes in the film is what I liked. But should we talk about that ending then?
Yes, we shall. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Last 40 minutes of the film, yes.
Yes. So I think we were both in agreement that the first, we'll say, hour and a half was what we just stipulated. There's a lot of layered kind of culture things. However, last 40 minutes, when Sue, she decides to take the substance again, it was stated you can't take the substance again, because catastrophe will happen. She does it again. And she births out what is the ugliest monster you've ever seen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alex, really. And what this monster gets up to, it goes to the New Year's Eve gala, which Sue was meant to present. And it's in front of all the greasy producers that you see throughout the film, and the corporate capitalist businessmen that have been, drooling over Sue the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then you end up with this scene, don't you, where this monster. I can't remember what the monster's name is now, but he's on stage and everyone's staring at it. And what did you think when you were watching this, Alex, and what happens next?
Well, without, WTF, I was thinking, to be honest. There's a lot of moments like that in the film, because it's a good type of what is going on, but it just turns into a completely different film in a good way. Again, I enjoyed the fact that it just forgets all the meaning and the theme and that substance from the rest of the film, and just goes straight in ballistically, gore and limbs and blood and full on, you know what I mean?
Splatter.
And it does have its own purpose, isn't it? I just felt it was overly long, that sequence at the end.
I agree.
But what did you thought?
Yeah.
What did you thought when you started?
I second that point. Yeah. First of all, whoa, shock, gasping. I think there's a lot of people that couldn't stomach those last 20 minutes in particular. I think there'll be a lot of walkouts in cinema, but my take on it was that, because me and you and everyone else who was watching that film was part of a society that creates that over-sexualized culture. It's like this ending scene was, we deserve this. You deserve what you get, and you get what you deserve. And we had to watch that. But I agree, maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes too long. But as you said, it's kind of almost an achievement in itself that this film got past, the producers and what have you, and it was actually made.
Actually got into cinemas. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yeah. Because this film is probably going to go in my top 3 list of going to find it hard to watch again. And there's a very special place in that top 3 list, because there's not a lot of films that I think that about, but I can stomach a lot, but yeah, it holds its own. It holds its own, and it definitely would you agree it's unforgettable?
Absolutely. And we've been talking about it for non-stop since we've seen it, and it's like, besides the fact that it's so, sometimes you can fall into the trap of being just gore and just bloody and horror, and that's it. You can fall into that, but this actually has a full-on, very powerful film in an hour and a half before the fun starts at the end, and it's all with purpose, and it's all has meaning, and it makes it bearable, the last part, to some extent. Some people, I had a person walk out of the cinema when I went to the screening. So it makes it that way, and I appreciate that, and that's why it goes right at the top there, because even if you see the first hour and a half of the film, you're good. You've seen what matters, and you just don't want to be punished, whipped visually at the end. So that's just top quality for me.
Yeah. I would agree with that, and I like how you phrase it as fun as well. I feel like it would have been a little bit better. It's almost, if you did see it at your own home and it wasn't in the cinema, it'd be more comfortable viewing, and you could probably have a laugh. But it's strange being in the cinema with other people and visually watching that. And it's but as you say, it's almost quite daring. It's daring and it's artistic in a way. So I say, let's go for it. Why not? Yeah, conversation.
Absolutely.
Starter.
I had out loud from the audience, Jesus Christ, and what WTF, and all of that. It was like, oh my God, and all of that in the last 40 minutes. And I was just smiling and closing my eyes and all of that, which is what cinema is all about, to be honest.
Like you're on a roller coaster.
Yes, exactly.
You don't want to
an
see
emotional
what's
roller
happening.
coaster. That's what it is at the end. But yeah, fantastic film.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you for watching our discussion on The Substance, and if you'd like to see a similarly, well, not even close as weird as this one, The Poor Things is in a similar vibe, or Kinds of Kindness, or anything by Yorgos Lanthimos. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.